First, connect the laptop specified for use with the Roland MDX40A mill to the mill itself with this USB cable. Navigating the desktop of the laptop, click on the shortcut icon for SRP Player. This software is responsible for file setup of the model and specifying the bits that will be used and the dimensions of the material. SRP Player will ask which connected device you'd like to communicate with. Choose the MDX40A and hit Next. For this example, we'll choose inches as our unit of measurement and hit Next. To register the tool, we simply select the bit we're starting with. Additional bits that specify finishing carving will be indicated later. The bits available at the foundry are checked. Once we select a bit, we'll see its values fill in these fields along with a rendering of the bit. Hit Next and then Finish. To bring an STL file into this 3D environment, hit the Open button in the right handrail or navigate to File, Open. We'll hit the Open button and select our requested file from the desktop. To change the orientation of the model, select a perspective here. We don't need to change our orientation, but we do need to rotate our model. To do that, we select 90 from this drop-down menu. Now that we've specified our model size and orientation, we'll go to number 2 in the setup roadmap, Types of Milling. Here we'll indicate the types of milling or carving. The first option indicates the resolution of the finish. Here you choose between a better or faster cut. Specificity on the difference in results can be found by clicking this question mark to the right. The next option is between a carve with flat planes versus curved surfaces. We'll choose curved surfaces. Again, if you'd like an explanation of the difference aside from the imagery here, click the question mark to the right. Next, we select whether we've got a cylindrical or a block model. In the foundry, this machine will typically be used for cylindrical model carving. After that, we'll create the toolpath. Select your material with this drop-down menu. We're using hardwood, so we'll leave this selection. Then we'll give the dimensions of our wood. We're working with an 8.3 inch long by 1.25 inch diameter dowel rod. If you find that your model is larger than your material, go back to the Model Size and Orientation item in the roadmap and scale your model's dimensions. You can add a second tool path by hitting the Edit button here. A second tool path means that the first set of cuts is the roughing cut, and the second set of cuts is the finishing cut, or the more detailed cuts. Larger gauge bits are for roughing, and smaller gauge bits are for finishing. We're performing roughing and finishing cuts in this example, so we'll open this list of items and select the item labeled flat to specify the 1/4 inch ball. Now we open the finishing list of items and select 1/8 inch ball. Then we hit Apply and Create Toolpath. Once we see the path has been created, we move to preview the results. Here we can get a mock-up of the cut by clicking Preview Cutting. We also see about how long this model will take to cut. Once we're satisfied with these results, we hit the Perform Cutting tab. This will show us a list of the bits we're using here. We hit Start Cutting and see the bit that should currently be installed. This looks good, so we hit Next. Now it says that we need to set the X, Y, and Z origins. This is a very important step, and to complete it, we'll need to open another software. So we navigate to our desktop and open vPanel by clicking on the vPanel icon. First, we'll need to set the X origin. We do this by selecting high speed motion of the drill bit. Then we'll press the red arrow keys until the bit is directly over the rightmost portion of our material. Once the drill bit is in position, hit Apply. Now make sure the y-axis is aligned with your material and hit apply. Z will be aligned at this point, so change the drop-down menu item from Y origin to Z origin and hit apply. When the Z origin is applied, a prompt to remove cuttings from the tool sensor will appear. Click Continue. This machine will calibrate itself and let you know when it's finished. We're ready to carve, so we navigate back to SRP Player and select Next in the carving dialog. At this point, our roughing cut will begin. A prompt will be sent when it's time to change our roughing cut bit to our finishing cut bit. To change the bits, we'll apply the same steps as in our setup video to remove our roughing bit and replace it with our finishing bit. When the carving is complete, remove the model by reversing the setup steps we described in the setup video. Then use the shop vacuum to clear debris from inside and around the mill. That's all for our tutorial of the Roland MDX 40A 4-axis mill. Happy carving!